welcome you aboard our highway in the sky and hope you've enjoyed the Magic Kingdom.
Welcome back to Disney Marvels for week of September 19th, 2021. This is episode 151. Disney Marvels, the show about Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Muppets, Pixar, 20th Century, the parks, and much, much more. If it has to do with Disney, it's fair game. I'm your host, Matthew Gracon. Hey, you might be going, you may be saying, you may be wondering, hey, Matthew, what's up with this early episode? This is a bonus episode. This is a bonus episode for you. It's part 2 of last week's discussion. We got a lot of great content. My wife and I got going and talking about our trip and reminiscing and talking about this and talking about that I had to split into 2 episodes. So here you go. We're going to pick up right where we left off last time. So sit back and enjoy the conversation. And, but first, a word from our friends and sponsors. And now, back to the show.
But actually, before we did that, actually, while we were mobile ordering, to get to ABC commissary, we went to Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Yep.
With much to be despised, I was trying to hold off going on that ride for as long as I can.
Haters are gonna hate.
Yeah, I know. Well, my favorite ride of all times is the Great Movie Ride. That has been my favorite ride probably since the studios opened, and I
Well, when you did the college program, some of my
roommates actually were did the Great Movie Ride. So
you like to torture them on that ride whenever you
we did.
So
we had fun. We had fun on that ride, but even before then, I really enjoyed. That was just my favorite ride, and obviously when I heard that it was going to be closing to have Mickey and Minnie have their own ride, I kind of was very sour about the whole situation. Not that I don't love Mickey and Minnie, I do, but...
And then also when you found out that's the Paul Ruddish versions of Mickey and Minnie, and it's not the classic
It's
Mickey
not classic, yeah, it's this new weird Mickey and Minnie. I don't know, modernized Mickey and Minnie. I was kind of like, oh, really? This is where we're going with this? So, I was open for it. Like, okay, obviously we did hear some good reviews about it prior. Some people had told me, some of my coworkers that had gone on it, and they had told me that it was really good. So I kind of knew that it was going to be an okay thing, but it was still a little nostalgic of not seeing, Robin Williams, and watching The Wizard of Oz and all that, all the little things that I used to love about all the little scenes that I used to love about the Great Movie Ride.
For years, my favorite part was the montage at the end.
Yeah.
But as time evolved, the montage changed, and it was less effective towards the end than it was earlier on.
But yeah, when we went on it, I don't know, I guess it was not what I expected it to be. I did not expect what it was at all. I didn't record it or anything because I really just kind of said, well, let's just give it a shot and see what it looks like.
I know people have done it. I don't know how you would record that because there was so much detail.
There was so much detail to it, and you move. In a lot of ways, it's a lot of like Rise of Resistance, where it's the free-moving vehicles.
It's a trackless coaster. It's a not coaster. It's a trackless attraction. There's no rail. It's all through sensors in the floor that the vehicles freely move about. Ratatouille's the same way. This is the new generation of the Omnimover, basically.
But like I said, it's a lot like Rise of Resistance. So it was like, okay, since being on Rise of Resistance and knowing how that felt, this was a lot like it, moving through the attraction. I do know that they did have some homages to the Great Movie Ride. Obviously, the one with the tornado scene obviously was supposed to be like a homage to Wizard of Oz. So there was a little bit here and there to it, so which I appreciated. But I walked off the ride and I actually said I actually loved it. I loved, actually, my favorite part of the whole entire ride. Not that I want to ruin it for anybody, but I loved doing the dances with Minnie and Daisy.
Daisy.
Minnie was there too, maybe towards the end. Well, it was Daisy, but
it's primarily Daisy.
It's Daisy. It's Daisy having you do these, like, learning how to dance and everything like that, and you're actually moving in the vehicle with the dance and everything, and it was really cute.
Yeah, the Rise of the Resistance is multiple type of attractions put together, and it using practical effects, image mapping, screen technology. So you get a lot of different things going on here. This is practical with image mapping. So kind of the same stuff that you have for Happily Ever After on the Castle. That's what they're doing here in this attraction, where you have unpainted animatronics, for the lack of a better term, and unpainted sets, and image mapping everything over it. Basically the same way on Frozen Ever After, how the faces are Buzz Lightyear's face in the Buzz Lightyear attraction.
Yeah, Space Ranger Spin.
That's how this entire attraction is. So what that leads to is you go in one room and you see it one way, it changes in front of you, you back out to a room that you were just in, it is completely changed and different from what you just saw. And it's bright, it is colorful, you are in a cartoon, and you're treated just like you're in a cartoon. And everything happens like it is a cartoon. And for someone who is a huge Roger Rabbit fan, this was fantastic, because you were in Toontown, basically.
Yeah.
It was like, going in, being like Eddie Valiant going into Toontown. This is exactly what happens here. And for me, this was like really, really cool.
I thought it was cool when you're starting off, right, and you're in the little train, choo-choo train, whatever, and all of a sudden it veers off and like Goofy goes like left and we went right, and I'm like, wait a minute, Goofy, where are you going? I was literally screaming, Goofy, where are you going?
I thought that he was sticking around for more of it, and he doesn't. And but it's just so well done. It's so fun. It's definitely a nice family attraction.
Yeah.
I got beat up a little bit during your favorite scene.
Because it does kind of sway you back and forth.
You got nothing on you, and you're just sliding back and forth on that bench. So make sure you're next to someone that you kind of like, or at least use deodorant, because you're going to be bouncing into them probably at some point.
But it was cute.
But
it was cute.
It is so well done, and it's fun. And there's multiple storylines to watch out for. There's a bird that you need to watch to see what they're doing. You have Pluto to watch, and you have Mickey and Minnie. So if you've done it once, you can do it another time and keep track for these hidden stories, because there's multiple storylines going on in this attraction.
It was fun though. I mean, am I going to say that it's like a new favorite? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think I have to do it again just to kind of like get do. We didn't get a chance to do it again. Well, I know the park was closed by the time we tried to go back to it, but it.
At this point, I would say it's a must-do.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a must-do. I know the line for it in the morning gets pretty crowded. I would definitely try to see if you're definitely rope dropping, probably make it one of your first things to do if you can.
Right to
Beeline right to it if you can, because obviously it's definitely save Slinky Dog for later on in the day if it's hot, where you're not having the sun beat down on you, and go do that first. Poor Slinky Dog, it eludes us it's been the last trip we
report on the Slinky Dog.
The Slinky Dog that
Coaster.
just doesn't happen.
Still haven't gotten on.
Haven't gotten on it. The last time we were there, it poured. I mean, torrential downpour with threatening really bad lightning and thunder.
Thunder and lightning that even the locals go, this is bad.
This is bad. I mean, really, really bad. We lost our entire dinner because it got drenched. Because we were at the toy box. It was bad. It was a bad storm. So we did not get to do Slinky Dog 2 years ago, and just for unfortunately time, we didn't get a chance to do it this time either. And it was just, obviously anybody who's been in Toy Story knows that there is no cover. There's no way to duck from that heat. So to go over there in 95-degree heat, you're just gonna swelter.
And there's 3 attractions currently in there, and out of the 3 of them, only one is covered, which is Toy Story
Mania.
The other 2 are in the open. Now the alien saucer one, there is at least a roof over it, which is considered an outside attraction, so you don't have to wear your mask currently on it. Again, as we're recording it, that can always change. Slinky Dog also being an outside attraction, I don't think you have to wear your mask on that either. But it's very funny what they consider an outside attraction and what isn't, because Seven Doors Mine Train and Big Thunder Mountain are considered indoor attractions, even though the majority of the ride is outside.
It's because of the mine train. Because you're the part when you're with the queue line and the part with the dwarfs, you're kind of indoor.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So, but like I said, if you could try to save Slinky Dog for later on in the nighttime when the sun's going down, so you're not so sweltering hot, that's my advice there. Otherwise, try to get on Mickey Minnie's pretty early.
Yeah, definitely one of the first things to try to get to.
Yeah, I definitely would. Unfortunately, I left that day early because it was just so hot. So I know you guys did Toy Story Mania. And you did the alien swirls and stuff like that.
I did Toy Story Mania. I came in second.
Yeah, I know you.
I got my revenge at Buzz Lightyear.
But I know I wasn't there. I watched it, but I didn't get to experience it because I got really chickened out by the heat. It was just too much for me.
Well, the heat was intense, and everyone was starting to, because of the early morning and just the amount of stuff that we accomplished that day. Everyone started to go back out. We did the droid building.
You did the droid building.
We did the droid building.
Yeah, and for some reason,
but a lot of fun. It's kind of chaotic, kind of hectic, which I think is kind of what the environment's supposed to kind of be like, but just also with everything going on. You pick out your droid parts. You pick out the what type of droid, the parts that you're getting for it. You custom. Okay, I want this color. I want that color. I want this type of head. I want that kind of head. Depending on which type of droid that you're building, and then you assemble it all together. You get if you want to buy a personality chip, you can buy them.
We bought.
You can buy accessories. We ended up now buying all of the personality chips.
I think all but one.
Possibly. They were. I don't know if this is a deal that's going on all the time. When we were there, it was buy 3 personality chips for $30. Typically, they're $15 each. So you're better off if you buy 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And you have the light side, you have the dark side, you have a resistance, you have the first order, and then you have kind of a neutral one.
Yeah.
And
so we have all 3.
Yeah. So you could get one of each of them. Versus at the beginning, they do offer you a package of a personality chip and the carrier backpack for an additional $75. Again, I think you kind of work out better buying the personality chips, the 3 for $30, where you're only spending $10 a personality chip versus $15. Yeah, you're paying a little bit more, but you get multiple personality chips. Because who doesn't love having a droid with multiple personalities?
Yeah, and then just let you know, I don't know if you noticed, but I did do, I did buy. Huh? I know. I know.
Okay.
I know.
But yes. My wife's been eBay shopping.
Yes.
For unofficial merchandise. But
it looks cool.
It does look cool with that painted on there. The 50th anniversary logo painted on a personality chip.
I know. It's cool.
But besides that, I don't think there's a real personality chip either.
I don't care. It looks cool.
But, yeah, so you can get all different accessories for the droids that interact with it. And there's also an app that you can download to do more interacting with the droid at home or back at your resort. The droid will also interact with some different things around on the in Galaxy's Edge. We didn't get to do that so much because we built the droid and kind of left at that point. But yeah, so you got a lot of different cool things that you can get for the droids. It is a really fun thing. Currently $100 a droid. Not so bad considering that the advanced type of technology that these things are. I mean, it is a functioning BB-8
You could play
unit.
You could play tic-tac-toe with it.
You can play tic-tac-toe with it through the app. It interacts as it makes its moves if you win or lose depending, that's kind of fun. I think the best part though is the dance party that DJ Rex has 3 different songs that he will play through the app. You program the dance moves, you put the droid on the ground, and it starts dancing along to the music. It's really fun. If you have more than one, you get them all kind of interacting. And
Yeah.
You get this droid chaos.
You get this droid chaos.
It's hysterical.
It's funny, and they do interact with each other, so
Yep.
it's cute.
Yeah. So I do not regret getting the droids. I do not regret getting 2 droids.
The R2 unit is a little bit more sturdier, if you want to call it. I don't know if that's the best way to
It's
do
a
it.
little easier to maneuver on hardwood floors. On carpeting, they really don't work so well. The BB units are a little harder to steer properly. They do like to lose their heads. It's just some magnets holding them on, but it does roll like BB-8 does in the movies. It
really
impressive.
does quite impressive. Does roll pretty
They
well.
work really good on carpet, though.
Yeah, the BB-8 units do work better on the carpeting.
And also, as a heads up, for battery placement, they take 6 double A's. The BB-8 units take 6 double A's. I haven't checked to see what the R2s are. It's probably about the same. But, yeah, stock up on double A's.
But if you really want a droid, if you are a Star Wars collector, I would definitely think it's something that you should add to your collection, whether it be a BB-8 unit or a R2 unit. R2 units, I don't know. I think the R2 unit's a little cooler. But
they're both really cool. There's a little more customization that you could do with the R2s versus the BB-8s.
Yeah, and then I bought extra little side blasters for his arms.
Well, you got the rockets.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
rockets.
the little side liquid, the blue blasters.
Which light up wherever you plug them in, you press the activation button, they light up. Oh, keynote, if you're having trouble syncing the droid to the app, turn your remote control off. And the Bluetooth works better without the remote control on. So just a little note if you're having trouble like I did trying to sync the droid to the app. And you can only have 1 droid per app. Yeah, so other than that, that was the studios. Lots of fun. First day at the studios.
Our next day was downtown.
Yes.
Our
Yeah,
next
we
day
were
was
downtown. A lot of that place still impresses me since they switched it
completely
over
different.
from downtown Disney now Disney
Well-
Springs, less the NBA experience. God rest their soul. It's
well-
the former NBA experience, former
I mean,
Disney Quest.
knowing that I was there 25 years ago as a cast member
On the college program.
on the college program, part of the World of Disney opening team, to now, and used to knowing that I used to have to park across the street and walk across the street, almost trying to kill myself every time I had to cross that street.
Well, it's no different now. The cast members still have to park across the street and walk across the street. They're just walking over the street in an overpass.
Right. At least they're not having oncoming cars coming at them.
Well, yes, because it's not a 4-lane highway anymore. It's like an 8-lane, 9-lane highway.
It's crazy. I mean, in 25 years, except for like when you get to the world of Disney and then continue to the right of it, that's all still the same. So if it's like if you know where like Once Upon a Toy is, where the Christmas Story is, where the Art of
it's not Once Upon a Toy anymore. It's a literal shell of itself.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, but kind of like, but still in the buildings themselves are still the same. You go to the left, and it's a whole different ballgame.
Lego's still there.
Okay, all right.
T-Rex is still there, but it kind of starts fading from
there.
Area.
And then you kind of go, what happened? These huge garages take up so much space.
But they were needed.
Oh, absolutely they were needed. Because that parking that used to be there was atrocious. There was never anybody anywhere to park. I
just don't think they improved the bus system for it.
No.
I think they actually made the bus system worse. All the buses go to a central location in the relative center of Disney Springs, where before you had it on either end. You had one at the complete far side by Rainforest and World of Disney.
World of Disney,
closer to the World of Disney, but still that general side over there. The other one being all the way at the other end.
Well, there used to be 3 bus stops, wasn't there? Because there was the one near the World of Disney. There was one at Pleasure Island, and then there was the one that was the West End, which used to be by where Cirque du Soleil is. So there used to actually be 3. Now it's just one centralized one, which is kind of in the middle of everything. It's not quite Pleasure Island, but kind of more closer to West End, I think.
Yeah, which is great if you're shopping in that general area, but if you're down at the Rainforest, Art of Disney, Christmas shop, that's quite a haul to get back to that.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, if you're at Cirque du Soleil, Splitsville, Everglades, in that general area, it's a haul to get
to that bus stop. Yeah,
and it's not the easiest thing to find. There is some
no, and every time that we seem to go, we pick resorts that the bus stops are all the way at the very, very end.
You got 3 rows of buses, 3 lanes of buses to go on, depending on your resort, and All Stars is the furthest one out. If you're at the All Stars, give yourself an extra 40 minutes to walk, because it is quite, maybe not a little.
Was it All Stars? I thought it was Art of Animation.
Was it maybe?
I thought it was Art of Animation that was the last one.
I thought it was All Stars. I thought it used to be Art, and I think they switched them up.
Oh, maybe 2 years ago it was Art of Animation.
It's one of the A resorts, but it's all the way down. Though, if you are coming from what used to be the West End, so Splitsville, Cirque du Soleil, Marvel Shop, all that stuff, you can cut by the Coke building, where the Coca-Cola building is. There's an alley. You can go down that alley, and it'll put you at the far end of the bus, the busing section. The benefit of that is that's where everything branches out, so you don't have to double all the way back. It's going to save yourself a good 5 minutes of walking. An actual 5 minutes of walking, at least.
Yeah.
So, because you'd have to walk all the way down to the main center, go through the little passway, and walk double all the way back around. If you come out where the Coke building.
It's just, you think you go downtown to kind of like get away from the parks and not have to walk so much. Well,
you're still walking quite a bit. I walked more that day than I did in a number of the parks.
Possibly. I don't know about that. But
well,
you got there a little earlier.
Well, anyway. I spent all day. I was there before Springs.
Yeah, you were there, but that was a whole different situation.
Yeah, that's
It's a whole other different situation. But anyway, we got there. We
key thing we
got there
to Gideon's first thing in the morning. We talked about that. So yeah, it had a good time there.
We went to Splitsville.
That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Who would think, let's go to Disney World to bowl. It's bowling. They do have billiards there.
The drinks were fantastic. I had the Dole Whip one. It was absolutely fantastic.
We didn't try any of the food there, but
we had some French fries, but I mean, we were just trying. It was just trying to just kind of like fill the void until we had dinner. But
I had the Miami Vice. That was decent.
It was good. I mean, I was. You know, we had a lot of fun. You know what? I mean, the lanes were a little smaller than a normal bowling alley. The balls were. I don't think the balls were all that great.
Have you ever seen a bowling ball that really was? Unless if you have your own custom one.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's if you're a professional bowler, some of the lanes may not be completely up to par versus a actual bowling facility, like a regular bowling facility.
But that's not what you're there for. You're there to have fun.
It's
cool you off, obviously.
You don't bowl by game, you bowl by time. So if you have an hour, however many games you get in that hour, or if you have 2 hours, however many you do 2, you do 3 games, whatever it is, you book it by time.
Yeah, and we had 2 hours.
We did 2 hours worth.
Since there was 8 of us bowling, I think it did take a little bit longer. We ended up having to use 2 lanes. We did bowl almost 1.5 games, or a little more than 1.5.
No, we finished 2 games.
We did finish 2 games.
Yeah.
I know I crapped out at the end of it, so I didn't.
Kids wanted to start a 3rd game, but
we had to get to dinner.
Everyone finished it too. We had an early dinner at T-Rex that day, which we got to sit in a different room. We always get sat in that first room. We got to sit in the ice room.
We got to sit in the ice blue room, which was pretty cool.
Which is pretty cool, especially it changes the colors of everything with all the black lighting. The kids were lighting up with their clothing.
Yeah.
So
it was cool.
Fun. I mean, it's cool. T-Rex. You know, it's the food.
It was enjoyable. Okay, it was okay.
But you're more there for the ambiance and the atmosphere.
And I think everybody had a good time with it. You know, it was nice to kind of just sit down and relax a little bit, especially after the bowling. And then we all went around and we shopped for a while. You know, we had a nice night. I know you were out looking for Star Wars stuff. It did rain. It did rain a little bit there for a little bit. Poured.
We were in the Lego store, and then
we went to the World of Disney, and wow, has that store changed?
That's not
totally
what
it used to be. I know you said you. I know you didn't. I don't like the flow of it either. I mean, I guess it's because
it's that open concept stuff that people are doing with their house.
Yeah. Let's so everybody's doing this open concept in their house. Let's try this in a store.
I guess it bigger.
No, I don't even necessarily think they made it bigger. It's just that they knocked walls out.
Yeah,
they knocked walls out.
They pushed. They did add.
Well, they got rid of
They added on to the building.
Yeah, I guess. But like, I miss the villain room. I miss where
the different theme rooms.
The different themed rooms that we had. The Snow White, which was the newborn room,
not just that.
Which is one of the rooms that I was in, and it's just
with the theme rooms, I was able to understand where stuff was. This to me seems a little more haphazard.
There's no rhyme or reason to what anything is.
It's a lot of it's by theme, but some of it's by collection. By it's the type of merchandise. So your kids section and your adult section of
but then I thought parts of it that were just
here's the Marvel section, and then here's the Indiana Jones stuff, and then here's your Pixar stuff. To me, it feels chaotic, and I think partially because of how crowded it is, and there's nothing really to break up the crowds, and stuff is kind of there. It just I
just like the way it used to be set up, where every room had its own theme, and you kind of knew what to expect when you walked into that room, and like you knew that okay, if you were in housewares, you were in housewares, like because that's all that was there. I mean, even though that kind of section is still kind of there, but it's not the same as it used to be. Now, actually, where housewares used to be is now just all registers. So it's kind of moved to a different section, and
it's just across the way.
Yeah, but it just doesn't. It like I said, and like now, like where the Snow White room used to be, it's now like design your own T-shirt type place. Like it was like I don't know. It just I don't know. It just really, really is a different store than what
it's got a different story. It's trying to fit into more of the theme of what
they're
Disney
trying to
Springs is. They're trying to keep
modernize it a little bit, and I get that. Like I understand
extent,
for 25 years later, things do need to change, and you do need to update it and make it more modern. But at the same time, I
It
think the
doesn't
world
have
of
the same
Disney.
magic that it
No,
did.
that store just had magic to it when it first opened with all those rooms the way they were, and now I just feel like it's just another. I mean,
It's
for
another
lack,
store.
it's another Disney store, and
No, it's just another store.
Store.
It was more of a Disney store, which Disney stores carried some sort of magic to them, with the whimsy and the characters and everything. There's no whimsy to this.
no, you don't even have the characters in the ceiling anymore, and it's just. I don't know. I just feel like it.
There is artwork and there's some nice touches because it's
I
supposed
know,
to be
but
like it's subtly there if you look in the right places, which is mostly by the cash registers. But it's not the same.
I just like when you walked into the rotunda and you used to see Mickey and Minnie in that.
You really have to hunt for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
You really
I
have
just
to hunt for it.
I don't know. I guess because I opened that store and I spent so much time in it that I knew that store inside and out. And now I walk around it and it's not even the same store anymore.
No.
So it's kind of heartbreaking, but I understand that it needs to move on, but it's all right. I mean, we evolve and change, and that's it. But it's still a little nostalgic for me since I was part of the opening team there and did get to set that store up and everything like that. So it is what it is. But so we did that, and then we obviously went over to the Christmas store and got some cool things there, and then I think after that, I think we hit Gideon's after that, right? Like we kind of went over and tried to get on the queue line for Gideon's.
Yeah, got on the queue line for Gideon's,
and then
it was my double dip at Gideon's that day, but
yeah,
you guys got to experience it for the first time. And so, what did you think? Because I know what I thought of Gideon's when I first walked into there. What did you think of Gideon's when you first walked in? Let's first start with the aroma.
Well, the aroma with the mask on.
Even with the mask on.
Even with the mask on, it's incredible. The smell in there is absolutely incredible. I will have to say, it's very Harry Potter. Or like Harry Potter with like a twist.
I think Steve was going more of a gothic.
Yeah, well, yes, but that's what I'm saying. It's like Harry Potter with a twist.
Oh.
It definitely got a gothic flair to it, especially with all of his caricatures that he's got that he makes for the different cakes and everything like that, which I think are really, really a cool idea. Like I like this one. I love this little lemon one for September. That the little girl, the lemon head girl. I like her. So I do like that. I did think that library gothic-ish, but it does have a little bit of Harry Potter to it. Like I just felt like you were.
I'm not. Steve would take that.
I don't necessarily think it's like wandish. Like I was gonna go buy a wand. I just think it'd be like, okay, so, all right, it's not like 3 broomsticks type of thing, but it would definitely be like a place where I feel that Harry Potter would go to have a cookie. Like it has the old ancient style books on the walls and the way that the menu is up there and the glass cases of looking at the cookies, it looks very magical. So yes, it's like a gothic Harry Potter.
Okay.
I mean, it's got a gargoyle on the top of the building, for Christ's sakes.
Yes, it has a gargoyle.
And that's, and
like it's like, you go back to the episode where I'm talking to Steve, and I apologize, I don't have that number queued up at the moment. But he talks about how proud he is of the theming that they were able to do. Their West Side one, the original store. They were happy. They had to do some, but it was a kind of a throw together place, so they weren't able to do as much theming. This one, they were able to take their time and really put in all the theming that they wanted to, and it came out exactly the type of store and the look, the feel of the store that they wanted. And it is spectacular. There's a lot of detailing. Episode 134, my interview with Steve, and he will go into about the detailing and how much how they put the team together and where they came up with a lot of these ideas, which is in an old book that he came upon.
No, but it was a cool setup. It really was.
It's a cool setup.
It was a cool setup. I mean, I apologize, Steve, if you don't like the Harry Potter reference, if you happen to listen to this, but I mean,
I'm emailing him
that I called it Harry Potter. I mean, I don't think that's not a compliment. I mean, I think
it's not a compliment.
No, I think
it is. I
think it is a compliment because, like, he achieved some type of theory, some type of theme. I mean, I walked in there, and I know my cousin Linda was with us, and I know she walked in there going, "Oh, this is kind of very Harry Potterish," you know what I mean? And it does have that vibe. A lot of people
probably do get that kind of association. It's like I said, it is a darker gothic.
I mean, yes, it's got a gothic feel to it.
You could go with a lot of like illusion type of or old magic type of movie type of things, and pull it out into this. Even I would go as far as the. Do you remember the Sorcerer's Apprentice movie with Nicolas Cage?
Mm-hmm.
I think that this would fit well in that type of.
Yeah, I guess. And the only reason I'm saying that is because it's like when you go up and you order whatever you're going to order, you're not at a glass case filled with cookies where they just kind of take it off a tray. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they're getting it all that like as you're ordering.
Got the nice little smoke effect there with that makes it look like there's fire in the counter because of the lighting and the smoke effect that comes out of it. So that's right at the register.
But I just think it's like cool because you're not like walking into a bakery, right? It doesn't look anything like you would think. Like,
it's not supposed to.
Right, and that's why I was saying it would be like something like you would see Harry Potter going in to go order because you're not seeing it. You're like it's like magically the cookies appear.
Well, and the one thing, and this is just on
in this nice, beautiful packaged box.
And the boxes are brilliant. The general theming, if you think of the style of it. Besides the gothicness of it, but the lines, the lines of the bookshelves and how everything is laid out is almost how a comic book artist would sketch out a room.
Yeah.
Is very much in a comic book style of a design of how the lines are and how everything is presented. And I could see that relationship because Steve, again, having his background in a comic book art store, I can see how that carries through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, himself that he does not see a difference between his comic book store in this store. They're one and the same, and in hindsight, I see that.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see it with I mean, definitely. I don't know. It's definitely a very. I really
it's
almost.
It's not big inside.
No, it's not. But
it's spectacular.
But it's. I mean, I think if there wasn't like a mile-long line of hours of waiting, you would definitely enjoy if you could. And I don't know necessarily even if there wasn't lines. I don't think the store's big enough, but it would be a really cool place if you could just sit in it. If you could sit in there and like drink your coffee and have your cookie there.
You go to your Starbucks, you go to your Joffrey's, your boring coffee place. I want to sit down. I want to have it put a little table in the one corner there. Sit back, enjoy the peanut butter, cold brew, and
I would like to actually
peanut butter crunch cookie and just enjoy myself.
Yeah, I mean,
just check it. That was probably hours looking at the details.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the only thing that's probably like upsetting about it is that the store is so small that you can't sit in there and you can't eat anything.
And
it's a matter of you just go through the queue line.
You're walking through, so you could take in everything, but there is so much detail. There's so much stuff going on there to see and experience that you really. On the first walkthrough, you don't get as much. You can't take it all in.
Mm-hmm.
And since I got to go twice, I was able to see more the second time around. And also,
cool.
you're kind of busy wondering, okay, which of these amazing, delectable baked items am I purchasing?
Yeah. Like, can I have one of everything?
And people are going. You paid $6 for a cookie. No,
yes.
I paid $6 for a Gideon's cookie, which is approximately half a pound. There's a reason why it's not exactly half a pound. And again, go back to episode 134. It
takes you days to eat the cookie.
You can spread this cookie out through a couple of days. I know,
or
Steve,
multiple people.
Yep. Steve will tell you he wants you to eat it right there and then because it is at its premium.
It is, and I will say you brought them home, and even it was still a few minutes later after that. I know some of the cookies were still warm when you brought them home. I know it was hot out, but they were still semi-warm, and they were really good. We still have one left in our fridge now that we're slowly getting our way through. But they are. We'll touch on this on another episode of our food review in general. So I don't really want to go too much into the cookie tasting and the best coffee I have ever drank in the world. We'll go into that at a later date.
Short answer.
Is
Gideon's worth it?
Yes. I mean, everybody's like, and I know, I think we said this earlier on about other things about Disney food in general. Everybody is going to have their own opinion, right? You're going to walk in and you're going to taste it and you're just going to go, you know what? I don't get it.
There's going to be some people out there that say that they're not
just
cookie people.
I don't get it. They're not cookie people, or they don't like it. And I get that. You know what? We all have our go-to dessert, cookies, cakes, whatever it is. We all have our favorites, right? But at least try it. I will have to say 2 things off the bat. I don't want to give away too much. If you were there, definitely try the red velvet. That was phenomenal.
The true red velvet.
True red velvet. And if you want to grab a cookie and at least get a basic cookie, get the chocolate chip. If you're there in the morning, the crumb is really great, but I would still go with the chocolate chip over that in the end because it was just phenomenal.
And make sure you have it when it's fresh. It's good.
It's good
no matter what.
But it was better. It was better when it was fresher.
It is.
It was phenomenal. It was amazing. So, and they are a little doughy in the middle. So be prepared. It's cooked, but it is a little more doughier in the middle. But just like I said,
I love that.
I like that. I mean, who doesn't like raw cookie dough? But like I said, you may like it. You may not like it. But is it worth at least putting the $6 out for it? Yes. And like I said. And you got to grab the peanut butter cold brew because it is definitely worth trying. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, I think it was great. I mean, and you know what? That area around Disney Springs, I loved it at night where you had the entertainment.
So
you had the entertainment going on.
You had music going on at. I forgot Raglan Road.
It was Raglan Road, but then
there's stuff going on
by the House of Blues.
By the Blues, there's stuff going on close by.
I think that was what was that STK there? That was right there, or was it the Italian place? I'm not sure which one it was, but they had some music go. So when you get out of Gideon's and you go right down the street, it was the restaurant to the left. I don't know which restaurant that was.
It's the one by Jack Lindsay's.
I don't know if it's the Italian restaurant, but there was a band going on over there as well. So depending on what kind of music you like, it's definitely a great place to just go and just listen to some music if you wanted to, kind of wind down after being at the parks all day.
But I think that's the brilliance of what they've done with, changing it from downtown to Disney Springs. Is that it's just got this much more laid-back vibe to it, and where before, you had Pleasure Island, which all your nightclub stuff and
yes, but everything was inside
and everything. Yes, but now it's a much more open, airy type of thing, and just the whole place is much more alive.
Yeah,
especially at night.
Yeah,
during the day it's just a shopping district. At night it literally comes alive. There's live music. There was live music. Actually, when we were there at Splitsville during the day, they had stuff at night too. Live music going on at Artsmiths. Live music. A lot of these places have, and they're mostly local bands, local musicians that come out on the center stage area as well.
It was great. I mean,
there's live
it was
music
really nice.
Going on by the World of Disney. So you have just all this, and just really brings a life to the place. And even our friends were saying that this is really cool. This is just I know,
and it was so, and it was, and like, and we had to like kind of like push them to go because they were like, "Oh, we're done. We want to go home." And I'm like, "No, you got to come over. You got to see this. You know, you got to listen to the music." And
you got to get some cookies.
I was like, "You got to get some cookies." And they're like, "What is such a big deal about these cookies?" And I'm like, "Trust me, you just need to try them.
It's not just a cookie.
It's not just a cookie." And they happened to agree with us in the end that we were right. They were like, "You're right. It's not just a cookie." So, but then they loved just sitting there and listening to the music and everything like that. It was really just a nice, relaxing moment to just sit down and just listen to some. I think there was like some '80s music being played and stuff like that. So it was really cool. It was just nice. I mean, like, you know, while you're sitting there, I mean, we only had like a 40-minute wait for the queue, so it really wasn't, and it really went fast. It really wasn't too bad. It was good. We had a good time. And then we just headed back to the resort after that. And then the next day we had a very, very early morning the next morning for the Animal Kingdom. Because we wanted to get there for Flight of Passage.
Which we finally got to do this time around.
Yeah, because our kids were finally tall enough to ride it. Just tall enough to ride it.
Everyone enjoyed it?
Yeah. Well, I know I told you this afternoon. You know, it was great. It was a great ride. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was really cool. Some of the
effects, the
visual of it was really, really awesome. I loved the fact that you could feel like you're like on this like breathing Banshee. But I did not. Maybe because Rise of Resistance just blew me away. Maybe if I would, all right, let's play what if, right? If maybe we did that before I had done Rise of Resistance, maybe I would have walked off the ride going, wow. Maybe.
Probably.
But the fact that we had already done Rise of Resistance, and in my head, nothing could beat that it was very hard for me to walk off that ride and go, wow. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was really incredible. I thought it was a really, really great ride. And like I said, if Disney's going in this direction with Avatar, and then we're going into, Mickey and Minnie's, and obviously Rise of Resistance, and then obviously with the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy and Tron and all that kind of stuff, if these are the types of rides that we're going to be getting, that's pretty fantastic.
So let's put this in order. Of those 4 new attractions that we've just talked about. Rise, Smugglers, Mickey and Minnie, and Flight of Passage. How would you put them in order? From, let's go highest to lowest.
Well, Rise of Resistance is number 1, without a doubt. As funny as this may sound, I think I'd have to do Mickey Minnie second. And then I would do Flight of Passage, and then do Smugglers Run last.
Okay.
Yeah. If I would have gotten it on Slinky Dog, then maybe I would have thrown that in there too. But unfortunately, Slinky Dog is still still in me. I mean, I understand it's just a little roller coaster, but still,
it's just it's a themed coaster with some fun stuff in it. It's not
like the fancy stuff.
It's not the technological marvels that those four
attractions are. Yeah. But no, that would probably be the way I would. That would definitely the way I would do it.
Okay.
Like I said, I thought Avatar was great, but I didn't walk off.
You know what?
I didn't walk off of it. I didn't walk off of it going, wow, that was the best ride I've ever been on.
No, I was impressed by it, but I felt there was something lacking, which I was actually kind of somewhat surprised about from Disney. That I guess you did get some of the smell-o-vision in it. So they did.
No, you got a mask on too, so
yeah, but
which does ruin it.
I kind of wish they did what they did with Muppets Vision, where you're flying along and the water splashes up. That they had misters.
You know what? I said that to Paige. You know what? I actually said that to our daughter. I said, you know what? I'm actually very surprised that this wasn't more like a Soarin' situation where at certain points you'd got some more aromas and you did get like water splashed.
No, you don't get water splashed in Soaring.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying.
You get the aromas.
You get
which
the
is
aromas.
What you got here, but.
Oh, see, I didn't smell anything.
I thought I smelled
like
something.
once. I think once.
Yeah, at one point you get
towards the end. I think you got a little of something, and I don't remember what that something is now. If someone, I don't remember what it was, but like I said, I think it would have been more like if you got like a little. I mean, I'm not saying that they have to soak you.
No, just little spritz.
Spritz of water when you were going under like some of the waterfalls and stuff like that. I thought that would have been cool. I mean, obviously, you're not going to want to walk off the ride soaking wet, but just enough to.
Well, like I said, you do that with Muppet Vision. You do that with Tough to Be a Bug. So it's not something they haven't done before, so they know the formula of like how much to spritz people with. And I don't know if it has to do with the technology of the machine that you're sitting on.
Maybe it can't get wet.
But you don't have to spray that hard.
Yeah, I know. And then I also didn't like the fact that once you get going that I can lean over and like, you know how like it was like me, I can turn your head and you see everything. I think it should have been more of a situation that you couldn't see the people next to you. I think that kind of
I think that's why I had in my mind that that's what it was going to be, but
I think that made it kind of like ruined it a little bit that you could actually see people doing this 3D thing. I don't know. Like I understand that you could see the person next to you and that's fine, but like I saw
five people down.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like the fact that I could actually like turn around and I could see because you were in the next section from us, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird that I can see. I mean, it was cool that I got to see our son riding it, but at the same time it was like, oh, that's kind of weird that I can see them. So it was just the one drawback. It was the one drawback. About that. Yeah, I didn't like that idea of it, but I thought it was really cool. I mean, I have to say, like, I thought the scenery of it was really cool. The feeling of the dropping, that was really, really cool.
Unless if you have motion sickness and sensitivity to motion and stuff like that, and heights and whatnot. In general, though, this is kind of like Soaring in the fact that just about anyone can go on this and enjoy themselves.
Yeah. I mean...
as long as you fit the height restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know what? Like I said, if we hadn't done Rise first, maybe I would have said, wow, that was a really, really cool ride. But doing Rise first and then doing this one after it, I don't know, I think maybe it ruined it a little bit for me. And I think that's also because this is now 4 years we had waited to ride that ride. Because the last time we went, our kids were not tall enough. And it was a 2.5 hour wait. And there was no way.
Well,
there was no way.
It's actually been longer.
Yeah,
because we were there 2 years. Well, that's 2 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago. It wasn't open.
It wasn't open yet. We just missed it. We missed it by like weeks, or even days. I think it was days. So
2 years ago, kids weren't tall enough to go on it, so we
and it was a 2.5 hour wait
at park closing. So we weren't doing that. So we got to 4 years later finally get on the attraction, which will probably be the timing for Slinky Dog. That we finally get to go on it. We enjoyed it. It was quite the experience. Maybe it would probably definitely been a better experience 4 years ago, but things being as they were, didn't happen. It was nice to finally be able to do it and say, well, okay, we've done it. We know why people are talking about it. We may not share in the same hype that some people. We did not. I've heard of people walking off of this attraction crying. I was crying because I was hungry for breakfast.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't eaten, and my stomach was going, you're throwing me around, I want food.
Yeah.
And there was also a Banshee shortage.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was no Banshees.
They don't have
They were stuffed
They just had the plush Banshees, not the interactive
actual
toy.
mechanism Banshees. We had gotten one the last time we had went. So
not that we were in the market for one. It's just thought that was an interesting.
I wonder if it was like a supply shortage, or they were.
I'm sure there's a supply shortage. With everything else that there's a supply shortage of at the moment.
Yeah. Who knew we can't make banshees?
Yeah.
So that so all the banshees were plush banshees, which was kind of
disappointing.
Disappointing. But
Speaking of disappointing, we had breakfast at Tusker House. Characters still walking around. It's not the same, but no. We'll save this for our food review. But then we did the safari, which it's the same safari as always, which is fantastic. We got to see baby giraffes, and all the animals.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Safari, a lot of fun, really enjoyable. Missed the shaking bridge though. I missed the shaking bridges.
I missed the whole story.
Yeah, they've definitely walked away from the story for one reason or another. I do kind of miss that, and I was thinking that I was going through. I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying the experience, but I do miss the story of the attraction. The deeper story that was there for the conservation and I think that was just getting too heavy for people, so they kind of they watered it down. But so that was that.
And then we headed over to Everest.
Did it twice. Walked right on. Did it again.
Well,
back to back.
So the baby of the group, the 5-year-old, walked off of it and said, I want to do it again.
Line was still short. We
jumped right back on it.
Everyone enjoyed it. Everyone loved it. Everest is still good. Disco Yeti's doing well. He says hi.
We did Cali River. Got soaked.
It's been a while since we did Cali River.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I didn't remember how short that ride was.
Neither did I. I
remember it being longer. I don't know, maybe it wasn't.
No.
Obviously not.
But there was less fire effects.
There wasn't. Was there any fire go off?
There may not.
I don't think there was any fire.
Maybe one or two spots. I don't know. I did have to write backwards.
I didn't. I got soaked.
Yep.
Why is it always me? I'm always the one that gets soaked. I got soaked on Splash Mountain. I got soaked on that. And nothing like walking around Disney World with wet underwear. I'll just say, it's not fun.
You weren't the lady behind us on Splash Mountain that was praying to the good Lord Jesus as we were going down Calamity Falls. Oh dear Lordy God, protect me, Lord, as we go. No, she was something. She was a riot. It was great. But that was back in the Magic Kingdom on the first day.
Nothing like wearing a mask on Splash Mountain and getting soaked to the point that you could wring your mask out. So you had to throw it out.
They should be handing him out
a nice paper surgical mask had to be thrown out because it was soaked. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
We did Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur I felt was darker than it usually has, and they've updated a lot of the effects where before.
And they put cushier seats in.
Yeah, they really they've updated Dinosaur, and if you haven't been on it in a while, check it back out because it's been plussed a little bit.
Doesn't hurt your back as much as it used to, because I used to hate to go on that ride because it was just to bounce you around, and then it killed me.
Yeah, and instead of little models of the little dinosaurs hopping over you, is visualized screens.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Like I said, they plussed the effects. It felt darker. Speaking of which, we'll get back to Spacebound. It was really nice. So that was Animal Kingdom. Just try and move this along a little more. And then next day was Magic Kingdom again. Right? Yes.
Yes.
Magic Kingdom again, day 2. That one really well.
We were able to we banged out. I can't even tell you how many attractions we did that day. We started off because we did have breakfast at Grand Floridian that morning.
Yeah.
So we didn't get there. So we didn't rope drop Magic Kingdom again. We decided to go have a nice breakfast,
which was a really nice breakfast there.
Yeah, we'll go into that, like I said, during the food review. But so after the Grand Floridian, we did go into the back into the Magic Kingdom. I want to say that we probably got there around noon. But even getting there at noon, we got through every single land. We started off in an Adventureland and went from Pirates to Jungle Cruise. And then we headed over and did Big Thunder Mountain. Then we did Country Bears. And then from Country Bears, we hopped on to Haunted Mansion again.
Yep.
And then right from Haunted Mansion, then we hit Fantasyland and did Small World. PhilharMagic, Peter Pan. I'm trying to think, and then from there we did Mine Train.
Yep. Little Mermaid,
and then it was, I think, after Little Mermaid.
LeFou's Brew.
Yeah, we stopped for well, I did anyway. You guys went and did Little Mermaid. I stopped and went into air conditioning for a little bit. And then we went over and did Liberty Tree Tavern for dinner again for part 2, and that was just as good as day 1. I did think the food was a little bit better day 1 than day 2, but it was still good. It was still good. And then after that, we headed over. Then we went to Tomorrowland. Yep. We headed over to Tomorrowland. So we did Buzz Lightyear.
Where I kicked everyone's behind on that. We almost got the same. You only got 1,000 more than. No. I had 800,000 points.
Yeah, you kicked everybody's butts.
And you said, I cheated last time because the vehicle got stuck, and that's why I got 500,000. All right, well, this time we didn't get stuck at all, and I got 800,000.
Yeah. I was at 6. I was pretty close.
Got my sticker, that I'm a Galactic Hero. Which you just have to ask for at the cash register.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then
we did Laugh Floor.
And you got to be that guy.
I was that guy
with your too many towels. You did have like 3 cool towels on your neck, I think.
Everyone stopped wanting to wear them as it was getting down, and they're all wet. Well, I'm not going to put them back in my backpack.
I know, I get it. So yeah, you got to be that guy. So that was kind of fun. And then
our son got picked up too.
And Callan got to talk to Mike Wazowski too. So that was pretty cool. And then
no, it was Buddy.
It was Buddy. I couldn't remember.
Buddy. It's not Mike. It's his cousin.
And then and then you guys went and did Space Mountain again.
Yep, we did Space Mountain again, which I have to say is really darker than I've ever remembered it being.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we did it the first day, I was like,
added
wow.
Some music to it, which you could barely hear because of it just.
And here I am, like, so here, our 2 boys are 5 and 6 years old, so this is the first time that they've ridden Space Mountain, and obviously, if anybody who has rode it recently in the last couple of years, there's only one little lap bar holding you into that thing, and that's
the same as, that's more than there used to be.
Well, okay, yes, but like I said, the ride is really dark now, and it tosses you a good amount, so I'm like scared to death that they're gonna go flying out of this vehicle. So, of course, prior us to getting on this ride, I'm having conversations with our sons about, like, you really need to hold on. This isn't a ride that you stick your hands up in. You need to hold on. So it was pretty cute when we're halfway through the ride and I hear my 5-year-old scream, "I'm holding on, Mama!"
I think we need to go back a few years and talk about
I was holding
our first child's experience.
And I held her ponytail.
Our daughter is in the front seat and you're sitting behind her, and you're both in the front car. And so it's our daughter, who's 12 or whatever she was at that point.
It was in 2013, so whatever, how many years ago that was. I think she was like 8.
She was 8. And then there was you. I was in the front of the second car, and whoever was behind me. And you decided that it was the best way, that the lap bar was insufficient. That piece of foam that's locked into place by mechanisms, that's being held in there to make sure that's been safety tested by inspectors left and right, and designed by Imagineers, was not enough. That the best way to keep her safe was to hold onto her ponytail.
Yep.
That is the ultimate protection.
It was the only thing I could grab.
That will keep her in her seat. And if she flies out of her seat, you will make sure that she's completely protected because you got her ponytail. As we are going through this 25-mile-an-hour.
It was
roller
more. It was
coaster.
more just to like know that she was still in the seat.
You were behind her. You could see.
But
that
no, we
she's there.
couldn't. No, you can't. It's pitch dark.
It wasn't that dark that time. This time was darker. I don't know if it's because we're older or because
Maybe my sight isn't as good as it was. No, it was
it's definitely
darker.
older because you don't have the giant chocolate chip cookies flying across the sky anymore. There's nothing projected on the roofs anymore.
No, it was dark. It was dark.
It is completely.
I know because Calvin got
darker.
off screaming, crying that he was because he was scared from it.
Yeah.
You
Yet
know?
he went back on.
Yeah,
and
he
did
went
a
back
second
on it
one.
and did it a second time. I did not go on it the second time, but yes, you guys braved it.
Yep.
But that was cool. And then we got to go and then we were able to catch the
One of the penultimate showings of Happily Ever After, which is still a beautiful.
how we got the place that we got was incredible.
I just
We were like dead center of the castle.
We
and
just kind of stopped in the spot and no one bothered us.
Well, I mean, they were leading us that way, but the fact that we landed dead center of the castle was pretty cool.
If you go back to the Facebook group, I did live stream it, so the video should still be there. It is still as emotional and beautiful as it ever was. I'm hearing, though, from people that's seen some of the tests of the new show that the visual effects are even better, which I think may be why they're kind of moving forward from Happily Ever After. Is technology has changed in 4 years, so image mapping is just getting that much.
I know,
brighter
but I
and
love the
crisper.
music.
The music is spectacular. The clips I've heard is actually so far sounds promising for the new one. Is it going to be Happily Ever After? I don't know, because the whole show is just.
I mean, you think
resonates.
about it, like for a very, very long time, 10 years, it was Wishes, right? So we all loved Wishes because
I think it ran long. It wasn't 12. I forget.
it was a long time.
Wishes
I
ran
want to
for-
say that I almost grew up on Wishes. I know I didn't, but I almost feel like I did
Well,
because
it-
it was my young adult
It
life.
did run as long as Fancy in the Sky.
Yeah.
That ran the longest.
Yeah,
of them.
so,
And then
I
you
mean,
got Wishes, which ran
a very, very long time. And then
And now we got Happy Ever After that. I've talked about this on Love of the Mouse podcast. I don't think it's ran long enough. And there could be many reasons why. Whatever is it because everyone can stream it now? Is it because of the technology changing? Is it because Chapek has come in wanting to stake his claim on his new thing? Because the new show is going to be mostly just even. Happily Ever After is primarily new stuff. There is some old stuff thrown into Happily Ever After, but it's mostly the new stuff. That the new show is going to be more just newer things. Whatever the reasoning be, we're losing it too soon, but it
was definitely a
still-
spectacular show.
It's still
I
spectacular.
mean,
It's still powerful.
to hear our little guy, this is when they break the castle. This is when they break the castle. I mean, he was so excited to see it, and to watch it one more time really was spectacular. Our friends that were with us hadn't seen it, and I think they were blown away by it. They were blown away by it. So I just think.
Epcot Forever, kind of as a side note, Disney knows how to do a fireworks show.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I know okay, Epcot Forever was, but it's
it was still a good fireworks. It was a good fireworks show.
Great. I wish it kept to the original stuff and not the remakes of the songs, but it serves a purpose of kind of moving
it's moving it forward, and I get that.
To everyone that
I just
grew up with an older Epcot Center.
Yeah.
Here's kind of your
homage, and then that's it. But
I
I mean, it's.
but
I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to Harmonious and seeing what that will.
I am really looking.
I'm
forward
looking
to
forward. I
Harmonious.
mean, if you're gonna put those ugly black barges in the middle of the lake, they better be doing something spectacular. That's all I have to say, because they are really ugly.
The giant tacos, as Becky calls them.
They really are ugly. But otherwise, Happily Ever After was great. And you know what? For the most part, they exited people pretty much very fast out of the parks.
They try to get everybody out. It's up to the lingering.
So, we were, so fireworks started at 8:45. we were back at our hotel by 9:30. So in 45
and that was
minutes.
on the bus.
And that was on a bus. So, 45 minutes to watch the show and get on the bus by 9:30. It's pretty impressive. We didn't stop into any stores or anything like that on the way out because it was just so crowded.
We did do a stroller that day. We rented a stroller, so we had to.
We did have to return that real quick.
That was even with returning the stroller, which they ran that fairly well. And then we kind of just
skedaddled out.
Skedaddled to the bus.
And then the next day was our last day, and we did the repeat of the studios.
Yeah.
And that was like our special studio day. We didn't really hop on too many rides. We did go on Smuggler's Run again. Yeah, we went there later.
Let ourselves sleep in a little bit. We did Smuggler's Run again. That's when we did the Smuggler's Run a second time.
And we did
Rise of Resistance
again. But we did do the Cantina.
We did the Cantina, which was I wanted to live stream. I apologize. I know I was hyping up the live stream from there. I didn't get to live stream from there. It just, for other reasons, it didn't work out. I did do some video stuff, which I'll have to post to the group. I thought it was pretty cool. Just kind of, it really puts you in that Star Wars-ish vibe. I mean, I felt out of place. Even though no one else was wearing them, I felt I should have been wearing Jedi robes or something. I should have been cosplaying.
You were wearing your Star Wars shirt.
I was wearing my Star Wars shirt, but I felt I should have been more immersed into it because of how I mean, even our waitress, just like the way that she was talking was very much in character.
It was a different experience. Like I said, I'd rather go into it when we go into the whole food situation.
We will.
But it's
really cool.
It's cool. It was a cool place to be.
I think the kids even enjoyed it, even though they couldn't partake in the adult beverages. There's stuff for them.
You can have the blue milk there. So for the kids, if you do, if the kids are with you and you do need a non-alcoholic thing,
it's the blue milk and a cookie, basically.
The cookie was actually pretty good.
The cookie was good. The blue milk was interesting.
It was interesting. I don't know if I would drink it again, but it was definitely good. I would like to try that. We didn't get to try the green milk, so I'll try the green one the next time. Save something for the next trip. But so we did the Cantina, and then
we ended it perfectly. I was trying to think of what if we did anything else. Well, we did sci-fi.
We had the horrible experience at the sci-fi.
We'll get into that.
I already want to go into that.
That in itself is
a whole other episode. But but then after that we had our special lightsabers. We built our lightsabers.
We went to Savi's workshop and did the build your own lightsaber, which
I actually cried.
I got misty.
There were tears in my eyes.
That is. Now, Danzy will yell at me because we did watch it ahead of time. So we did, kind of spoil it a little bit. But even knowing what was coming, and I would never suggest, especially now going through it, I would never suggest for someone to watch the videos of this ahead of time. Just know, going forth, that it is a one-of-a-kind, special, I would dare to say intimate moment.
Yeah.
That there's 20, I didn't count how many, but there's like 20 something people in that room. And
it had to be, because I mean there was 5 of us building.
You don't,
so there had to be 20.
Yeah, you really feel it's kind of, you kind of lose sight of everyone else there, but you're kind of all joined together at the same time, and you're going through this experience. Obviously it's scripted and whatnot.
I mean, it is scripted, but you know what? Like, you're spending $220 on this souvenir. That, I mean, okay, in the grand scheme of things, except for putting it up on your wall, what are you really doing with it, right? So, and you have it for collector's stake, oh, okay, I have a lightsaber, but for $220, you better be giving me something good.
And they do.
So
they deliver a show and an experience.
I mean, you're in there for about 40 minutes. I think we were in there, half hour.
It's about half hour.
About a half hour. there were parts that I think it was a little rushed. Like when you're actually building the whole lightsaber part, I thought was a little rushed. But I understand they have to move us along to get more people in.
And I think in some ways that, depending on the type of person, and I'm an indecisive person, as my wife would definitely tell you, that you have to first you pick one of the 4 different type of lightsaber builds that you want.
And you do that prior to going in.
You do that when you're checking in
and paying for it.
And paying for everything. Also, as a side note, the kyber crystals that you can pick inside are only red, blue, green, and purple. Mm-hmm. Those are the only kyber crystals that you can choose inside during the experience. If you want any of the other ones, they can be purchased at the point that you check in, or Doc Onder's store of antiquities, technically upstairs. So you can get those at either time, but it may be a little bit easier for you to purchase them at the time of your checking into the experience.
Well, checking in and picking out which of
the lightsaber builds that you want. That being said, they do tell you that if you pick out something other than the color that one of the colors being there, I bought a yellow one, my wife bought a white one. You cannot put them in during the experience.
Right.
You would have to switch it out later, which is fairly easy to do. The 4 different types is Peace and Justice, which is very much kind of a Luke Skywalker-ish. You have the Power and Control, a little closer to Darth Vader. You have the Elemental and Nature,
which is the one I picked.
Which is more of an organic.
I don't know. I felt like it was Leia. That would have been Leia's lightsaber.
Kind of, yeah. And then you have the Protection and Defense, which is the Guardians of the Temple lightsaber. That's the one I went with, which looks really good with my yellow blade. Elemental Nature, I think, also works really well with the white blade.
Yeah. I picked purple in the experience itself, and then switched it out to the white. Yeah. But I have both.
Yes. Oh, here we go. Yes.
I have the purple and the white.
Peace and Justice they describe as salvage scrap from fallen Jedi temples and crashed starships in these Republic-era design, honor to the galaxy, former Guardians.
Let's see, Power and Control, originally forged by the Dark Side Warriors. This style features rumored remnants from the Sith homeworld and abandoned temples. The Elemental Nature, this theme embodies the force and energy created by all living things like the Brylark trees, Carlusian whale bones, and the Rancor teeth, which is actually what I did. I picked the bottom part. I did pick the tooth or bones or whatever the hell you want to call it. And then the Protection and Defense is hilt materials bear mysterious motifs and inspections that reconnect users with the ancient wellspring of the Force. So,
when you hold these things,
they are pretty heavy.
You don't realize, one, how heavy they are, and they are mostly metal. It just the sad part is, like I was saying before, how, especially if you're a little more indecisive, and you want to make sure you kind of get it right as you're doing this. That when you're picking the pieces to build your lightsaber, it's like, okay, do I want this type or do you want not? And they explain the parts to you and how you have to assemble it, and they do a nice job at that. But you don't feel like you have that long to decide, do I want piece A or piece B? Piece A, piece B, and putting it together. Also, as a side note, we didn't do this, and I'm kind of a little upset that I didn't think to do this. You can buy your scrap for additional charge. So the parts that you don't use, you can buy.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have done that, because then I would have had the hook to actually hang mine, where right now we can't hang mine at all.
No.
So, yeah. But I didn't like the hook. That was the reason why I went with the whole tooth.
You have the belt holster. They all have the belt holster, which is also a separate charge. You buy that, I think, for $12 to $15, somewhere around that, up at Doc Onder's. You can get a clip that goes onto your belt, and you can hang these from your hip. just like they do, Jedis do.
But obviously, you take the saber.
You take
part,
the blade part
off. Yeah.
But again, my personal suggestion would be: do not watch any videos to spoil what happens. Go in there with an open mind and enjoy the
experience.
Enjoy the experience.
I mean, it's still cool, but it's just watching it did kind of
stand
ruin it
there to grab your lightsaber and hold it up is.
And the fact that you just got to put
really
your own,
cool.
yeah. I mean, the fact that you built it, you created it, you picked out what parts you wanted it's yours. I mean, it's
such an
it's as what they call it, your scrap metal. It's your scrap metal that you put together to build this lightsaber.
But when you flick it on for that first time, there's just this weird connection that you have to it.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a cool moment.
It's a tube with an LED light in it, but it's just more to that really at that point.
It's cool.
It is really special, and it's not to hate on the other park, but say okay, they have their experience, and okay, you got a stick. I got
a wand.
Let's a wand.
Let's be anatomically correct. It's a wand.
A wand of a specific
And I'm
design.
sorry, but if I'm standing there and I get chosen and they give me my wand,
it will be cool.
It would be cool. I mean, I know we haven't done that yet, but it would be cool.
I can't see. Maybe because we haven't done it. But getting your own custom lightsaber.
I don't know, because I want a wand.
The wand's going to be cool, but it's just like, okay, there it is. But
I mean, I'm waiting for the kids to get older to do Harry Potter. But I mean, I'm a Harry Potter fan. I mean, to me, I like Star Wars. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more of a Harry Potter fan.
See, no, I'm definitely more of a... I enjoy Harry Potter, but...
Yeah, but see, I can connect to Harry Potter. I can't really connect a little bit to Star Wars, but I like Star Wars. It's not like I don't like it. I get it. I like it.
We'll see one day whenever we finally get there to see, okay, here's my
stick.
Here's your little stick.
Here's my stick.
In a box that, okay, versus, okay, here's my lightsaber, and you can actually light it up, and it makes noise, it clashes.
I think it's cool. I mean, I wouldn't have bought one if I didn't.
Kyber crystal.
I get it. It's cool. I know. I like it. I like the sounds that mine makes. I think it's a really cool object. But at the same time, I want a wand. But, that's in due time.
Yep.
I mean, you're right. I understand. It is a stick. And I'm sure it probably doesn't make any cool sounds, or it doesn't say Wingardium Leviosa.
It interacts a little bit in the land there, but once you remove it, that's it. This, and also a little tip for everyone, afterwards, especially if you do it at night, you take your lightsaber, you go back to the Millennium Falcon, which is right around the corner.
There are 2 Disney cast members there taking pictures.
Well, there's a couple Disney photographers that take pictures at different points of the... You have one up on the balcony by the Docking Bay 7. You have the Oronto Roasters, I'm sorry. Up by Oronto Roasters.
No, that was Docking Bay 7.
Docking Bay 7. Mm-hmm. There's one down by closer to the entranceway to the cantina. And then there's one directly in front of the bow of the Millennium Falcon. There's not much of a distance between that one. That one you're pretty close to the ship. The one closer to the cantina is a side shot of the ship, but there's more of a distance that you can get the full ship with you, your lightsaber, and the ship in the Millennium Falcon. How much more awesome is that?
Yeah, we took some pretty awesome pictures.
The group of us that did the lightsaber build. And
there was 5 of us that did it. It was pretty cool.
And it was very bizarre how the coloring worked out because 5 people, 2 chose blue, 2 chose purple, and there I am with my red lightsaber.
That you swindled us all, thinking I thought you were going to go for green, and you tricked us all and went for blue. I went for red.
I kind of I wish I did have a green one as well, but I'm glad I grabbed the red because it just. Yeah. Especially for the pictures, it worked out even better because
because then he was in the middle. Yeah. It was cool. I mean, it was cool. We got some really cool shots.
We got some
it was,
spectacular shots.
It was, I mean, and the photographer was great. I mean, he wore us all out with the way we were posing and stuff with the lightsabers.
It's not his fault that people kept
walking behind us. He was trying to just get pictures of us with the Millennium Falcon without any other people walking by. Which was really cool because then you don't get, obviously you're not getting, other people in your pictures. So it was really cool. And he took this one picture of us actually backwards, like we were walking to the Falcon with our sabers down. That really looks like an awesome. It's a really awesome picture. It's the lock
screen photo on my phone.
It's the lock screen photo on my phone too. So it really is a cool picture. It's like one of the first pictures I was showing everybody at work when I went back to work. Like I guess this is not a badass photo. It's really it was a cool picture. It was a cool experience. It is a lot of money. It is $229. And then each crystal after that I think is like 17. So just be prepared for that. If we did not pay for experience. We did not allow our little ones yet. Our daughter, who was 15, she paid for her own. She worked the whole summer, so she paid for her own, so she got hers. But as far as our 5 and 6 year olds, I just couldn't do it because I don't
think they. You're allowed to bring one guest with you into the experience.
So they did get to it. They did get to come in.
They were able to experience it. They were able to.
I know.
The
5-year-old helped you, and the 6-year-old helped me, and so they did get to participate and help choose. I know Callan did help me choose parts, so he did get to, enjoy it. But as far as them having their own to spend that kind of money when I know that they'll break it, I just couldn't do it.
I don't think they, and even just also the full experience of everything going on, I don't think they...
I don't know if they would concept it.
I think they would enjoy it. I just think Callan, the 6-year-old, next time we go, he may understand it more and appreciate it more. I think kind of the first preview around Ryan, only 5, I think he was still maybe a little too young. He would probably enjoy it, enjoy having the lightsaber around. These aren't the $30 job ones that they got at Tatooine Traders outside of Star Tours, which they could bang around into everything, take apart and put different pieces together and whatnot, which I think they're enjoying those more than they would appreciate the Savi's Workshop lightsabers. First day around, let me take a little step back, that Callan and I did go to Doc Ondar's. You have to get in line to check out the Legacy lightsabers. Now, what a Legacy lightsaber is... Now, you got many different versions of the... You can buy the stuff at Target or whatnot of the different type of lightsabers of the different characters. And then you have the Black Series that Mattel puts out of the lightsabers that look like the ones used in the movie. The Legacy lightsabers is the highest level of detail in a collectible lightsaber that you can get. This is prop duplicated. So basically, it's the exact build to what what they used in the movie. So what the design of, say, Kylo Ren's lightsaber, it is exactly the design of Kylo Ren's lightsaber. And it is, again, heavy. It is mostly of a metal alloyed material, and it is exact detail. So you can get those. They light up, do the sound effects, everything, and they range about $150 to $200 depending on the lightsaber. They also have the black saber. For anyone who knows what that is, and I can go into that another day. So we got to check those out. Callan got to play with those. He thought those were really cool. He got to hold them. You do have to stand in line to be able to go see them, and then you purchase them off to the side. I I'm fighting the addiction of trying to now start to collect these things.
No.
Because they are just spectacular. The blades for the Legacy lightsabers are the same ones for the blades for Savi's workshop. There's also, I believe, 3 different sizes of blades that you get. You get a shorter blade, a medium blade, which is the one that you get at Savi's, from my understanding. Excuse me, and a longer blade. Depending on how you're displaying them and what you're going to use, you get, you can you choose from there. And the blades are about $14 to $17. They are not that expensive to purchase. But again, if you have the ones from Savi's, they're going to work in the Legacy lightsabers. The Legacy lightsabers, except for the Darksaber, do not come with blades. Also, a little side note. That being said, also you can't change the kyber crystals in them, which you can do with the Savi's workshop ones. That's only specific to Savi's workshop. So, so we took the pictures, then we hopped on Rise of the Resistance for the last time to finish the night out, and then walked out of the park, almost an empty park. It was a spectacular end to a spectacular vacation. I mean, we did do some stuff the next morning. We got up, we went to Everglazed, had some delicious donuts, visited, went to some of the shops again, to World of Disney, and that was it. So all in all, I think it was a spectacular trip. I really enjoyed it. We did a lot. We got to do a lot of things that we haven't done before, or we don't normally do. We skipped over Homecoming.
Yeah. I think I wanted to do that on purpose.
Yeah, we'll get to Homecoming again later.
Because that could be a whole other podcast in itself.
So all in all, spectacular trip, and we got to do a lot, and I don't feel like it was too rushed. As much as we did, I think the pacing of it actually went fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was super hot. It's August in Florida. There's not too many hotter places on this continent than
yeah.
I
mean,
that.
It was hot. It was hot.
It was the humidity was what I think really made it worse, especially with those masks.
It was like you were melting. Melting is a good word.
But the cool towels was a huge help. We had the little portable fans; those helped too. Trying to go inside as much as possible, bringing lots of water with electrolytes really helps out as well. So we did a lot of things to be able to try and help and deal with that. But it's another successful Disney trip. Everyone, I will.
The kids are still talking about it.
Kids are still talking about it. Our friends that came with us are still talking about it.
They already booked their next trip.
They booked their next trip without us.
In January.
So they'll be going back in a few months.
And we're looking to go back.
We're always looking to go back.
We're looking to go back like 2-3 times next year. So, we'll see.
We're looking to go back forever.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
But it is again. There's something special about Walt Disney World, and
it definitely takes you away from reality for a little while.
And with everything that been going on for the past almost 2 years now, a year and a half, I don't want to rush the time, but it was well needed. I mean, yes, you still have reminders of wearing masks and the hand sanitizer and social distancing with characters. But I don't think that took away from the trip.
No.
A lot of it did add to it. Besides, like, the characters, some of the changes were for better. But it didn't take away.
I did want to turn into like a masks Nazi by the time we were done. That I just didn't want to wear it anymore.
Well, that's a whole nother discussion. But it's with the heat.
You just couldn't cool down.
Right. You go into a building, but you can't breathe in the cool air because you've got the mask on. So it did make it a little harder to cool off. But it is what it is. But yeah, had a great time. Can't wait to go back. And thank you for sticking around for this 3.5 hour podcast.
Well, it was the review of our entire trip.
It was a review of an 8-day trip. We will have more content coming to you soon. Sorry that's taken so long for this episode to come out. But,
the kids going back to school and everything.
Getting back to normal life, unfortunately. That things get caught up in the way. So, we will talk to you soon. And thank you so much for coming on to your first, having my beautiful wife on her first episode.
Yep.
We'll have you on again
He'll
soon.
torture me soon, don't worry.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you again to my wonderful wife for joining us this week on this second part of the episode. When are you planning your next Walt Disney World or Disney Park vacation? I'm not going to limit it to just one place because sometimes not everyone goes to only Walt Disney World. So when's your next Disney Park vacation? We want to know. And what are you looking forward to most? Join the conversation. Find us on the socials. Our main Facebook group is facebook.com/group/Disney Marvels Podcast. On Instagram, we're at Disney Marvels Podcast. TikTok, we're at Disney Marvels Podcast. And on Twitter, we're at Disney Marvels. Also, don't forget to subscribe and find our YouTube channel. You could also leave a voice message through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website. Hear yourself on the show. Or you can record a message electronically through your computer or mobile device, smartphone device, and email it to disneymarvels@gmail.com. You could also email any questions or suggestions you may have to the address above as well. Don't forget to check out the latest on the Disney Marvels blog at disneymarvels.blogspot.com. Links to all of these are in the show notes. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have these days, hence why these episodes have taken so long to come out. But thank you. Thank you for spending some of that time with us. And we really appreciate it. Just ask, please, if you like it, share it out on the social networks. Send it out on Twitter or Facebook, whatever. Share the link out. Tell your friends about it. Also, go to Apple Podcast and leave us a review. We have all 5-star reviews at the moment, and I'd love to see that keep going. I still baffles me that the only reviews that we have are 5-star reviews, and that's fantastic. The more reviews we get, the more Apple will do their job to promote the show. So you tell your friends, Apple tells everybody else. Check out the Disney Marvel Podcast. Lots of fun stuff going on over there. And hey, you never know who's going to show up here next. I may not even know. More people we've joined the family, the bigger the Disney family we have. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. Also, while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Help the show out. You can do this over at anchor.fm/DisneyMarvels/support. Or also find our Patreon page. You get some cool stuff over that way. You can also check out some of our own Disney Marvels branded merchandise. The links are in the show notes for that, because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. I know a lot of stress is going on at the moment, and the news isn't always good, and it may weigh down on you at times. And some other stuff may be bothering you too that most people probably don't even realize, or maybe no one realizes. But don't give in. Don't give up on yourself. You are someone amazing. You may need help, and that's okay. It's okay to ask. But the first thing you gotta do is find it in you to be able to step forward and ask for that help. And by doing that, you will be your own hero. Find the light inside. Never give up, never give in. Be your own hero and let the world see how amazing you really are. Now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. The most important thing brought about in the past quarter century of motion picture history is the recognition that amusement, recreation, mass diversion is no longer a disputable luxury. Family fun is as necessary to modern living as the kitchen refrigerator. And that's Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.